Cotman, Crawford, and the Jersey Guy podcast.
Hey everybody, Kenny Cotman.
Louis Crawford.
And I'm Tom Ramage, the Jersey Guy.
Still out of here.
The Jersey Guy.
Yeah, he's still on vacaciones. He's still out of here.
Yeah.
All good. That's right. That's what he said. Still
Yeah.
having fun. He was chilling. So
Yep.
it's all good.
He's,
But he sends his love to everybody. So
Yep.
definitely miss you, Tom. Miss you. Miss you, Tom. Yes. Okay, your turn. Introduce the show.
Yeah. We're gonna do one on instincts
Yes.
because there's a lot of, as far as we're concerned, right? When it comes to instincts, how often do we really use them? How often do we allow ourselves to rely on them? Because we've evolved to the point where we don't really rely on them, but we do. Maybe we just don't pay attention to it the way we should. But like with animals, absolutely.
Yeah.
They go with their instincts without question. They don't even think about it. It's just second nature. They just do it.
I think all animals, really.
Yeah, I think every living being, actually, when you think about it.
Everything, everybody has instincts.
Right.
It's just like you said. I didn't even think about it how you were saying that. How much do we actually use them anymore?
Right.
You know.
I bet you if you really trained yourself, you probably could.
Yeah.
You know. But what you do in a sense, like for instance, I don't mean to cut you off.
No.
Like when you get like something's not right. You're like, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I don't feel like going there today. Or whatever it is. If for whatever reason you get something that just doesn't feel right, or a person or something. So I would consider that definitely an instinct.
Definitely.
The body,
Yes.
your.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about it.
Right.
Like I said, so now that feeling, I always try to walk with my head on a swivel, meaning I'm always looking around, checking to see where the exits are, looking to see who's in the place. If I even, when we go out places and such, I won't drink too much if I feel that something just isn't copacetic in the building, Now that's that's like, when you get into bad juju from some place or something like that, but it's always good to have that fear, instincts are what tells you or fuels you to move on, to make things happen, to go and,
get a gut feeling something about something, and you're like, you know what? Yeah, no, or maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? That's not a bad idea.
Right.
And make it happen.
But if something doesn't feel right, usually 9 times out of 10, it's right.
Mm-hmm.
Versus that if you did it through the mind.
Right.
Because your mind is going to question everything.
Right.
It's going to try to make it logical. It's going to try to, whatever it is, and that just overkills it. It overdoes it.
Our instincts told us how great it would be to come and do this podcast.
Was it instinct or was it just
I think it was instinct
maybe.
that told us to go ahead and make it happen. Like, you know what? Yeah, let's just do it.
Yeah.
Let's go. And now we're freaking geniuses in our own mind, and we're doing the greatest podcast on God's green earth.
right?
But yeah, no, instincts help us just be able to function, when something doesn't feel right, when something is right. I'm trying to think of what do we do in our regular day that would, that our instincts kick in without even knowing it,
Right.
That one time when you, like you said, if it's a smell, something just smells a little bit off, and you don't go to that particular place, even if you you hear something. So for me, my job, I work on machines. So I almost know when something's not going right because I hear like
sound.
And it's like, stop it. And then like looking and I'm finding where it is. So like that instinct.
Right.
I'm going to say that that's an instinct.
Well, that was something alerted you were was heightened alert for sure. You were definitely waiting. Anything that's out of the ordinary, you're going to pick it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the same like in your house. Like you ever been sleeping,
Yes.
like, and I could sleep
Do anything.
do anything, man. But then sometimes you hear a weird noise, and then you sleep and you're like,
Yeah. What was
Did you hear that?
Did you hear that?
what was that?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And then it winds up being something silly or whatever it is.
Yeah, but you heard it.
You heard it. And and it woke your ass up too.
Yeah. Now, here's a good question. would you agree that depending on where you grew up, that your instincts are different? So we grew up in the city. So like I said, we walk around and we're looking to
Right.
see who's around. We're aware of our people's surroundings.
Right.
Right. But if you grew up, let's say out west, more rural area, would that then, because of the animals, if you grew up on a farm or hearing something in the bushes, would that be different instincts? Because like I said, you would get that smell or that one sound that,
I just think wherever you grew up or wherever you came from, of course, you're going to be acclimated to that area. That's what you grew up with. That's what you know. Of course, your instincts are going to be strong in that area, but I'm sure you can go somewhere else and be able to use some of them or life skills or whatever you want to call it to get through or to adjust whatever it is. But yeah, you would rely on it, like certain things, if you're a city person, you know what they're looking out for. If you're a person from a country who works on a farm, you're going to know, it's just second nature to them.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, but if something's not right with something and if something feels right or whatever, or one of the animals or something, they're going to know. Mm-hmm. If something, it's like, if they're not acting right or doing something wrong.
Have you felt, do you think, because now as we're speaking on it, I believe my instincts have changed.
In regards to what?
So just how I between dealing with and or react to. So like I know when I'm walking in someplace, right? I'm not looking around the same way that I used to. Like, now if I'm out with the wife, I can sit with my back toward the door, but I've already scoped out the whole place. And or that I see, I'm a little bit more comfortable sitting with my back to the door in that direction. You know what I mean? So I'm a little bit lax in what my instincts would have told me 15, 20 years ago.
Right.
So I'm wondering if that's just because I'm not worried about the same things or if it's that my instincts have just fallen off.
No, I don't think they've fallen off. I think things change and you adjust with whatever goes on for the environment that you're in.
Okay.
So if you're just adjusting to whatever it is where you're like, okay, I don't need to feel that way here. I can be
right. Be relaxed.
Right.
Yeah.
Where if you are certain, like, listen, when I go into the city, I'm fucking immediately.
Yeah.
I may not be there and I may not live there anymore.
Right.
But as soon as I get in, when I'm walking through the city, I'm walking the same way I walked.
Right.
I go in and out of people.
Yeah.
To get to where I have to go, or I make sure I keep an eye on my surroundings. I got my eye on people and shit, just making.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
it just comes. You don't lose it. Maybe you get a little rusty or whatever. But I wouldn't know if that would necessarily be instincts. Maybe I guess that would be, but you're invited when you know when something's not right or when something is right, or something's up and somebody's trying to pull some shit on you or whatever it is.
Why, you oughta.
So, but the question is, have we relied or do we realize we're not using as much or are we using enough, So this says, no, we haven't. I suspect that most of our instincts are constantly drowned out by the frantic noise and commotion that is ever present in human society. Here's something that happened to me. I was on a solo kayaking trip on a Lake Powell in March about 15 years ago, and I haven't seen another person for 12 days and expected to continue my trip for several more days. The weather had been sunny and warm. I don't want to read the whole thing. Hang on a second. So I guess it's a long alternative. So obviously something came up and he was, he made sure, I'm sure weather-wise, he needed to do something to take care of something. I'll read about it more. I didn't realize it was that long. I apologize. But basically what he's saying, no, I think what we were both saying is when the time presents itself, you'll just go into action.
Yeah. Definitely.
So I guess we don't. I guess when it's necessary, you will. You'll.
So now our conversation,
kind of like Captain Kirk in Wrath of Khan, right? When Khan shot his asshole up, and then he was like, and they said to him at the beginning, Captain, you didn't know it. Just simply got caught with my britches down.
bro, that's fucking hilarious. That's funny. But yes, that is instinctive.
Yes, exactly right.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So now we were speaking earlier before about when something happens, what we would do. And you were saying that your adrenaline goes through the roof.
Depends on the situation. Yeah,
Right.
like sometimes I'll be calm, and there are other times where it's just how the situation presents itself.
Right.
So is the way I'm reacting. So I look at it as I'm reacting in the right response for myself. Now I may not look it on the outside, but
Right.
inside, you know, my heart might be racing, or my adrenaline, I'm heightened up and on waiting for something to come happen or whatever is going on.
Now, are you speaking just on violence?
No,
Or are you speaking on like, so example, I have no problem with running into a burning building. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, boom, that's what it is. And I'm super calm and I don't feel that crazy adrenaline rush until after.
I think that, I think it depends on the situation again. Yeah.
Okay.
Could it be a situation where someone's looking to fight you or something? You know,
Right.
you get that rush, or you're in an argument, or you're nervous about something's going on at work, or maybe your
just
family
anything
life,
going
or
on.
whatever it is. You know what I mean? So you're just responding accordingly.
Now,
you know?
do you find you're a rescue person? And it's like you go and you will be able to go and help somebody in a
I
situation?
think so, because I think I would hope. I hope I would. I mean, listen, I think I'm smart enough to know that, like you mentioned, a burning building. If I realize and I look at it, if flames are coming out of every orifice of that building, I'm not running in there.
Right. I get you.
Yeah, you know what I mean? No. But what do you call it? And I'm not a trained fireman, you know, but I would expect that when the time came to it, I would hope that I would respond to whatever emergency may have presented itself, which I really hope doesn't happen, but I will respond to it the way I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like, for instance, it's not the same thing, but when I was working over in Pine Bush, there's a vet across from one of the buildings that we work at, and there was a guy in the parking lot, and he had one dog with him, and I guess his other dog was in there, and this guy was super upset, crying. I mean, he was bawling on the phone, and my heart was just aching for him, and I couldn't help but just to go over to him and just, you know, talk to him.
Okay.
Yeah, man, you all right? Everything okay? And then he told me about his dog and everything. I said, I'm so sorry. I understand, you know, just why don't you sit down, relax. I mean, then there was another guy working on the vet building.
Right.
And he was like, yeah, his dog isn't a thing. This such happened. So, yeah, I kind of do respond. Yeah, I think I would hope, but, you know, I can't. I feel bad if it's the right thing. And now if it's somebody who's a total ass and they brought this shit on themselves and you know, something's going on, well, you know, well, that's on you. I'm not helping. You're out.
And I hear your voice already saying that shit. Hey, well, you're a fucking douchebag. Like, I hear you, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know. I don't think I would say douchebag, but I would just be, you're out. No, I would if necessary. But you know, if instinct called for it,
Yeah.
I would absolutely, I would be, you know.
But now, so then with that story though, is that considered instinct or emotion? You know what I mean? Like just a heartfelt moment? You know what I'm saying?
I think it was because sometimes, how many times have you seen something where you've seen people from a distance or something's going on, you didn't feel the need to go over to that situation if something was going on.
Got you. Okay.
But then if something did come up,
Yeah. Okay.
for whatever
that makes
reason,
sense.
you were drawn to that,
Zoned
you know,
into that.
and it probably could be because I have dogs and I understand the loss or something bad happening to them.
Yeah.
So I was sympathizing with them immediately. You know, I know what that's like.
Right. Yeah. Definitely.
You know, it sucks. So So I kind of felt for him, and I could see it was genuine.
Right.
So it was sad, but so I would look at it that way probably.
Because I mean, I know for me, and then going by what you're saying, instinct, like when I was way, way, way young, hanging out in Manhattan, and I saw this guy beating on his girlfriend.
Okay.
And I was with my cousin and another friend, and we went into, you know, instinct. Don't hit this woman. Don't beat on her the way he was beating on her, bro. Like,
Right. Yeah. No, I think I would probably get involved in that
right.
too.
So then that.
Or at least help her in some way where I could get her help.
Right.
Like if I felt, you know, if it again,
Yeah.
whatever the
But
situation
that would
called
be the
for, right?
instinct, right. So then, so that, like I said, that was our instinct, to go and help out,
Right.
It's one of those things that I think, like, you're right, man. It makes sense when depending on the situation, that then you would jump into,
Right. If you felt the
rescue
need
mode or
to,
whatever.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Because sometimes you're just drawn to it.
Because
whatever.
I and not that I go looking for trouble or ever really went
No,
looking for trouble.
but you
know what
happen
I'm
to be
saying?
there at that
Or
moment.
I just happened to be there. Like, I remember a friend of mine and we were outside, and my great uncle lived next door to us, and the house was on fire, his apartment. So he was like, "Kenny, the house," and we just ran into the building. And when he went into my uncle's house, I'm already running inside, and I'm getting the people out of the building. I'm running upstairs to the third floor, and I'm, fire, come on out and whatnot. Like, that was us without thinking about it. And
Right.
it wasn't until we got out of the building, we're like, oh shit, man, we just ran into the building.
Right,
Like,
yeah. What the hell's wrong with me?
on, bro? You know what I
Right.
mean? And it's instinct told us to go in there and make
Right.
sure that
Something
everybody was
said-
okay.
Yeah.
And even taking the subway, man, instinct said, don't sleep in this corner. Don't stand on that part of the platform.
Right. Yeah. You knew. Yeah. Like if you were on the platform, it's funny you should say that. I remember doing that when I would travel from work or whatever, depending on the time of night I got home
Yep.
or whatever. And I was on the platform. I was always checked
Yeah,
before I walked near that platform.
Yeah.
And made sure there was
Yep.
nobody around me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I'm sure our body language alone was like,
Hell
don't
yeah.
even freaking think about it.
Stood against the pole.
Pole.
The support beams
Yep.
in there,
Yep.
the I beams. Stood against
Always
that.
still,
with
I
your
always
back
pulled, when every time I'd say the street come out, I would walk back.
away from it.
Back
the
away
edge
from
of the
it.
platform.
Yeah.
That's why I'm bugging out with these people getting pushed in the subway.
Pay
I'm
attention,
like, where are
people.
you
Well,
from? Like, how do you not?
wake the
how aren't
freak
you-
up.
Like,
Now I'm
yeah.
saying, listen, not all people. I get it. People suck, so I can't blame the person.
Mm-hmm. No, right.
But maybe it's just because we were more. We were always on the train,
Yeah,
city,
yeah.
Brooklyn, whatever.
Yeah.
Like for instance, the other day I was doing driving. I was in what was it? Ellenville, and I'm looking for this one building that I have to do my inspections in. So I pull in, and there's this woman, older woman. She had to be in her 60s, maybe close to 70, whatever. She's got a cart, and she's pushing in, and she's got whatever on, and she's kind of looking at my van, and she's looking it up and down. I'm like, oh, here we go. I'm getting a Karen. I got a Karen. I'm getting my first Karen that I ever got. So she's looking at me, and she's making faces. I was like, what? I don't even have the window down. I was like, that's what I was doing.
Yep.
I was just, yes?
What?
Okay. Then I picked up my book that I needed to look at to see what I was doing. And I totally ignored her. So my instincts were like, don't get into it with her. Just blow her off and act as if she's not important.
Right.
That's what I did because she kind of was just standing when she was looking at me when I did it. She kind of looked away and everything. I was like, no, I'm not having this shit. So I was like, all right, you know what? I'll just look at my book and just stay with that and focus on that. And hopefully and she did. She took off. She just left.
Did it look like she was trying to, like, beg for money?
No, she was being nosy. She was looking to bust my balls and try to tell me I couldn't park there. I could see what was going on
Got it.
right away. She was like looking at the van, looking at me, and I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah, what?
What? Yeah.
right. And the way I was close, she saw my body language. So hopefully she saw my body language was like, yeah, that's not the right guy I should do that with. Because I wasn't about to have it. And
Yeah.
the police station was across the street, and I was in the government center. So I'm like, okay. So I'm going to have somebody fuck with me today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but fortunately I was smart. I didn't escalate it. I didn't roll down the window, say some stupid shit to her or anything like that. I picked up my book and just went business and do what I had to do. And she just turned away and walked away.
Yeah. Well,
So-
then, so then that's definitely an instinct, to see that person was going to be acting up and whatnot. So I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I just think about all the things like just from us quickly conversing before the show started, just all the things that I've done that I paid attention to and never really thought about it being instinct. Just that was just the way of life. That was just
Right.
to go walk to wherever, be whatever situation or anywhere that we were, that I was, and like, oh, yeah, okay, I noticed that over there, or I saw this, checking our cars that drive past,
Right.
like you said, people that are whatever.
Acting weird or strange.
Yeah, just something
like
that
you go
seems
somewhere and a
almost
guy's acting weird and you're like, because I pick up on that immediately.
Yeah.
I'm like, stay over here. Like if I'm with Tanya or
Right,
something,
right,
I'll be
yeah,
like, I just move it to the side or whatever. I'm like, yeah, just, you know.
Yeah. He just not so much towards us, but he looks like he's going to be kind of, like he might say something that happened.
Well, not necessarily to us, but just the fact I just didn't feel comfortable. I went into protective mode, and I was just basically, I'm not going to let that thing goes down. I'll make sure I already got her where I needed to be.
Yeah, I did that. Well, I do that, but one particular incident, I was with my daughter Samantha, and this guy, bum, homeless. I don't even know if he was homeless. He just, off his rocker or whatever. And he looks at her and he's like, I got to tell you, you're beautiful. And he's trying to come close. I'm like, no, dude, you got to stay back over there. And he's like, he looks at me like, what? Who you talking to? Oh, after this, kiss my dad. I'm like, no, bro. Back up. So then I stood in front of her. So that by that time, instinct was already, get in front of her and push her back. So this way, if anything,
Exactly.
And so
that's definitely instinct.
Yeah, I get that. But
when it means protecting or helping or...
When our kids were little and they're running around doing whatever and we just happen to be in that one spot and put their head before they smash into the wall or, they hit the floor because they were running around the house or block that corner on the counter and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, that's all day instinct.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just let the
I don't know if it's instinct. What, to protect the corner? You only protected it after because they smashed their head into it the first time. That's the only reason why you did it. That wasn't instinct. That was just, maybe I should put something on this corner. You know what I mean?
Come on, bro. I was trying to
like, now, if you did recognize one and say, hey, this is going to be bad because it's right in the spot, then you're like, I got to put some cushion on this. Somebody's take an eye out. You know what I mean?
Well, sometimes I did just, let that better judgment go on my kids,
Right.
They I used to set them up for that stuff. So I don't know how I want to. I didn't listen to the instinct, to the little voice in the back of the head say, no, not that. Because, man, instinct when the wife is going to yell at you. So,
right.
You buy flowers beforehand.
I think we know, and I guess that comes with experience too. As you get older, you try to figure out how to handle situations. You get better at it as you get older, hopefully. And then you know how to handle it. Instead of reacting, you kind of just don't react at all. You're quiet and everything. You know what I mean? You just watch everything around you instead of being, on the jump right away. You know what I mean?
Because now we've become master Jedis. So we know
maybe
when we're feeling it's a little bit off.
Right.
That makes sense.
It's true. I mean, I think the older we get, the wiser we get, for sure. No doubt about it. Yeah, and hopefully you're smart enough to realize that and just certain, like you said earlier, certain things you worried about when you were younger. You think about it now, you're like, I wasted all my energy on that bullshit for no reason, but you were supposed to.
Yeah, you needed
that was part because that's part of the journey.
Yes.
You need to do that. You know what I mean? So in order to, I know it's just.
Sometimes.
And we still have more to go. We're not even done, right? We're still on the road. We still have a lot of stuff ahead of us that we're not even aware of.
Right.
Hopefully, all good, and we'll get through whatever we need to if something happens to come up.
Definitely will. I think, like you said, it's that growth, that maturity,
right?
And because driving on the highway, I've always been crazy as far as just get out of my way and whatnot. I still have it to a point, but now I got a fidget spinner. So my
right, you don't allow yourself to get worked up like you used to before.
Instinct is telling me that there's too many people with guns that are shooting out the window in the car.
Exactly.
So instinct's like, maybe
yelling at somebody, it's not going to help you, man.
Yeah, no, don't want to do that.
You're losing your mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt, bro. But it's just wild on how. So now we say animals, their instincts,
right?
Their senses.
Yep.
Or they know when the storm is coming, bad weather, fire, whatever is coming, and they know to run for high ground.
Oh, they could tell when something's going to happen, but that's a success. That's a success only because their senses are so much higher than ours too.
See, that was a good segue, right? So, wouldn't instinct be a sixth sense? Isn't it a sixth sense? Because
whatever you're sensing, right? When you get like this crazy, and then you're like, I'm out.
Right.
That's the instinct. The instinct is like. Bows, knees and bows. That's all you can see, man. Heels and bows. I should say heels and bows. That's what
Running.
I'm out.
Yep. I'm out of here.
Big tidal wave coming.
Yeah.
Something happened. A
Right.
storm.
So then that's
Right.
So right. So then, to me, in my
I think they go hand in hand.
So that a sense is that you know something is coming. You can feel when. So
Right.
that's the instinct.
So check this out.
Go ahead.
An innate, typically fixed pattern of behavior in animals in a certain response to certain stimuli. Birds have an instinct to build nests. Nobody taught them how to build a nest. Birds just build them.
But didn't they copy?
No, because remember, mom builds the nest first, then she lays the eggs. And then the babies hatch, and then they leave the nest. Now, it's just, they figure it out, and they weave it. And when you look at it, and you see, and I found old nests,
Yeah.
for the work we're doing, so you have to get them off after. But I don't take the nest away until the eggs are already fully hatched and they're gone.
Yes.
And then I'll remove the nest. Because
Yeah.
anybody tells you to remove, I'm going to be like, it's not going away.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
staying right there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to kill birds for you.
Right. Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
You'd be all right for a couple of
Yeah, a
weeks.
couple more weeks. They're going to be gone. That's how fast they grow. They
Right.
literally do. You know what I mean? So, but it's amazing when you look at the nest. It's just amazing what they can use and what they find and how they weave it together and how they have it. They use the mud to kind of glue it down to the surface so it stays down. Like if you ever take a nest, it doesn't just come off. It's stuck. It's like cemented down.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never taken
They're
them down.
amazing. Depending on where they build it, like if you found it in a certain area, sometimes they're on windows, they're underneath soffits, on a light fixture or
Right.
something like
yeah,
that.
I've seen them. I just never tried
Right.
to move one out.
Yeah, it's amazing. You're like, wow, how the hell did I freaking? It's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
But they just do it. Nobody taught them. They
Right.
just do it.
Because at an instinct. So then it's like insects. Well, like bees or wasps.
The
Like
same
they
thing.
build their hives
Right? To protect the queen.
to protect the queen. So they build it that it's this big, so that this way she can stay safe in the middle.
Right?
That's go ahead.
Or if something happens, something invades
Right.
then they go to right
Yeah,
away.
boom.
Boom, they're
Yeah.
gone. They're out. They
Yeah,
take.
'cause if anybody even comes near, they feel it,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. They take.
they
They
know.
yeah.
So so instinct and a senses, like you said,
Yeah, I
go
think
hand in
everything.
hand.
Right, everything goes hand in hand, which helps the other one out.
Right.
Sometimes the bad thing is if we second guess something. Like you ever have a situation, I don't know, where you say, I knew I shouldn't have freaking gone in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Or I should have just stayed home today. Because you
Yeah.
had a bad, like the first beginning of your morning or something's going on and it sucked all the way through until you got out the door.
Yep.
And then there was a part of you that says, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to stay home. But you don't. You're like, all
Going
right,
about
I'll get to
your business.
work.
Right.
Everything will be different. No, it usually doesn't work out that way. So your instinct was to stay home. You probably should have listened to that and do that and just say, you know what? I'm calling it. It's a wrap.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm done.
I'm done.
I'm not going
sitting
in
here
today.
and
Yeah.
going in. Yeah, no. Well, but then, so I get you. But now you actually go. Should you be heightened senses, more alert, because you're feeling uneasy to begin with?
No, I think it just throws everything in a whack.
Yeah.
That's why the rest of the day goes to shit. So that's what I'm saying. So now you go to work, and now the rest of the day is even worse. Worse.
Yeah,
it just doesn't get
now
better.
You're super vigilant.
And now you're already heightened, right? Before you got to work, and you're hoping that work will just slow down because you get your mind fixed on something else. You get in the groove, you do your thing, whatever it is that you're doing.
And
it doesn't work out that
way. It's a bad
way.
day anyway.
Yeah.
Because
Then that's when you turn around and go, you know what? I'm not feeling good.
Yeah.
I'm going home.
Going home. I'm
I'm
out.
out.
Here. Yeah.
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 And you could do that,
Oh yeah. No. Right.
For sure.
Definitely.
I mean, if it's just not right, I've done that before. I mean, not a lot, but there have been times where I was like, you know what, I'm going home.
Dude, I've ended conversations and be like, yo, listen, you know what? I gotta go. See you around. Be back like next week or some shit. No.
Yeah.
Talk
No.
to you later. So yeah, I get it. That's wild. I mean, like I said, just us talking about it, I didn't really think about it like that, just that the instinct and the sense would go hand in hand,
Right.
I was like, yeah, whatever, it's all good. We're going to be chilling.
But how does a bear know to hibernate? Who showed him that?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But they do.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, the mother has the cubs, right? But the babies don't know that. They're already in the thing
Right.
with them. They didn't see mom make it or find it or any of that stuff.
Mm-hmm. And
right? How does a dog know how to? How does a dog know how to? So this is good. So when you think about it, it's almost like what came first, chicken or the egg, right? Kind of thing. But like when you see a dog give birth for the first time, even human beings,
right.
How the dog cleans the puppies off, right? They do the whole process, and then the puppies go and how do puppies know put nipples on? They just go,
Yeah,
boom,
they just
they
go
find
right
it,
there.
they know.
Mm-hmm.
It's like okay, so I think that's definitely a huge instinct. That's just totally
instinct. Well, even with human babies,
Yeah, absolutely.
As long as the baby, how did the mom know to breastfeed? You know what I mean?
Right.
Back in the day. I mean,
right. Yeah, because that was the only way. And then, I mean, obviously.
Right. So then they didn't they just knew to do that.
Right.
Same thing. Even kids walking and growing now, they go and they're curious and they touch things and
right.
they're looking, they learn how to walk. We help them and stuff, but it's gonna be that instinct to want to move their legs as such. You know what I mean?
We have parenting instincts too, right? So I remember Tanya telling me a story about how Haley they were in a parking lot and she decided to walk off into traffic, walking, and she said, I had a head full of hair.
Yeah.
And I pulled her ass back. And some lady saw it and gave me shit for it. And I told her, mind the business because I just saved my daughter's life.
Yeah.
Because she would have got killed if I didn't do that.
Right.
So it wasn't something that she was doing maliciously.
No,
it was something she was doing, one, out of instinct and being protective at the same time and saying no.
Yep.
And that was the only option available.
Right. That was the closest thing to my grip before she stepped into the street.
That happened to me with Frankie. We were kids. I always walked from my house to his house, and we always walked together. And it had to be like around summertime or something like that. And I remember it was on 59th and 15th Avenue on the corner. Car went out of control and was coming dead straight at me, and it was where the light pole was on the corner. And Frank I just was like a deer in headlights. I didn't move.
Right.
And he just grabbed me by my chest, picked me up, and just pulled me out of the way. And the car slammed right through. And yeah.
Holy
He just did it. We were just talking about him and I. So yeah, it was that. It's like added up. He just reacted. He didn't think. He just did it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And he says, "I'm surprised I didn't even hurt you." I said, "Bro, I didn't feel hurt. I didn't have a bruise or nothing. Mm-hmm. So whatever you did and however you did it was the way it was supposed to be done."
Well, there were stories too. People, their instinct when somebody's parents that the kid is caught under a car or under something heavy.
Well, that's super strength, though.
But it's part. Wouldn't it be that adrenaline?
Well, their instinct is to save them, right? So,
then that would be the
instinct. And that adrenaline
to move that car. Right. I know I got to move that car, whatever it is.
All right, true. You're right. You're right.
I mean,
absolutely.
That, or whatever it was. I knew. I mean, like I see things on social media where they're showing the kid is grabbing at something or doing whatever, and the parent turns around and grabs the kid at that last second,
right? Or
bounces, whatever it is.
Well, almost falls off the porch. Like off the balcony or something, father grabs him, or
like right through the thing,
right? Yeah.
The ballpark, the home run or the ball came. I think it was a line drive or whatever, a foul ball, and the kid is like this, and the kid wasn't going to grab the ball, and he just stuck his hand out and caught the ball barehanded,
right
in front of his, from his kid. Like he switched hands with the beer or whatever that he had.
And
and caught the ball.
Just caught that shit.
Yeah, and it was like
that's crazy.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And people are like,
yeah. You don't think.
Face.
Right.
Yeah. It's just because you never think. In the car, when people are driving and they move out of the way of some kind of danger, you just saw it happening or just starting, it's like, like I've told you, I can't tell you how many times, because I drive everywhere and I just driving and something is happening, and at the moment I'm just like do whatever I had to do, dipping it out, to get out of the way of whatever.
Didn't even think about it. You just
didn't
did
even think about it. Just did it, bro.
Just
it was like au natural. Right. And then after it was done, I'm saying, like,
what the hell? I had Robbie in the car with me, and we were driving on 17B in Monticello, and we were coming around the racetrack. All right, and there's a light. Mm-hmm. This guy blew the light. Something happened, and I had to get out of the way. Mm-hmm. Like I had to fishtail.
Yep.
I get out of the way, and I went over the medium, and then I spun around, and I parked parked in the. I got out of it, but I was pissed because I wanted to kill this guy because I actually went and looked for him at the time. But I was younger then.
Yeah.
So, but Robbie was like, "Dad, you just pulled some shit out of your ass. I cannot believe we just got out of that."
Yeah.
He'll tell you to this day. He'll be like, "I don't know how the hell you did it," but he said, "I thought we were dead."
Yeah, that happened to me on the Bell Parkway.
I got out of it.
Yeah, I was getting onto the Bell Parkway, and there was a Jeep Cherokee behind me. I never forget it. And he was too far over to the left, so that when we were coming onto the on ramp at the same time, this car trying to get around the Cherokee
Oh man.
clipped my left bumper. It whipped it almost like a pit maneuver with the cops
Right.
hit you, and I shot across. Now, if anybody that's listening knows the Belt Parkway, the Belt Parkway is always packed. Traffic jam
Yes,
all day.
always.
Shot across. I dipped right through a bunch of cars across to the third lane. Was still like turning the wheel back to the right because when he hit me, he shot me to go left. Shot across, whipped it back, got control of the car, and shot straight across over and was able to stop again and park the car, on the side of the road. Instinct. Because when I got out of the car, I turned to my chair, I was like, "Hey, is everybody in the car okay? Are you guys all good?" And people are like grabbing, like they're just like, "Oh, what the hell?" It was only 5 of us, it was 4 of us in the car. And we're like, "Oh, like, what the hell?" And I'm like, "Everybody good?" And I get out of the car, bro. I grabbed the back bumper, and I was 17, and I grabbed the back of the car like, "Oh, Lord of Jesus, thank you," because that would have been ugly. So I mean, that instinct.
I had a thing happen to me on the Bell Parkway as well. I was coming back from Long Island, and I had my mother's. I forgot what car it was. It was an '80s car for sure. Anyway, I'm driving, and it was wet. In the Bell Parkway, when it was wet, it was bad. It was
yeah, man.
I hit the brakes. I started spinning.
Oh.
Now, like you said, the Bell Parkway is packed.
Always.
People, not one car hit me.
Yep.
Spinning. I just let go of the steering wheel because I couldn't. I was out of control. So I just I let go, and it spun out and went up on the embankment and landed up backwards where I was facing down at the road.
Okay.
And it stalled.
Yep.
And I was like,
woo,
because I thought I was going to get blasted.
Yeah.
I honestly did.
Yeah.
I let go of the steering wheel and said, I'm going to get
just
creamed
close your
any
eyes
minute.
and just hang
It's
on.
going to happen.
Yep.
And it didn't. And then I just started the car back up, got back on the Bell Parkway and drove, man. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I'm going straight home.
Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere else.
Yeah,
Nothing else is
exactly.
happening.
But it was crazy. Like when those things happen, that's instinct too, I think, because when you know, excuse me, when you're in a situation where there's no, where you're not getting out of it.
Right.
So your instinct is just to accept it.
Yep.
Where this is it. So my instinct was like, all right, well, I couldn't, there was no way I was getting the car back into control because it was spinning.
Yep.
So I just let go of the car and hitting the brakes wasn't going to do anything.
Yeah, nope. Yeah.
It's going to make it worse.
And that's why I think, like you said, it's just depending on, and you were right all day, that depending, and I'm not going to repeat that, depending on what the situation is where your instincts will kick in.
Right.
I one of my favorite sayings ever, Smoking the Bandit, and
but when I get home, I'm going to punch your mother in the mouth.
No, not that one.
Punch your mother in the mouth.
That's another great one, though. But no, he says, depending on what part of the country you're standing in, will determine on how smart you are. Right?
Okay.
The reason why I'm using that now in association, because you just fixed for me what I said earlier, that just depending on the situation.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And not so much your upbringing.
Right.
Just depending on what it is that you're seeing that you feel uneasy about is where the instinct kicks in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I will say, man, for coming out of the city and then moving into suburbs, a lot of my stuff changed. My feelings on how.
Yeah, but as soon as you go back to the city, you're right back to
it's right back in there.
Boom.
Yeah.
You're already back in this,
Yeah. Because it's just, you just can't help it.
Yeah.
You can't help. Oh my God.
It's who you are. It's just that you haven't been there for a while, you know?
Yeah. And it's a little bit heightened.
Right.
I'm staying on vigilant. Everybody like, oh, you're having a good time? Yeah, I'm having fun. Yeah, this is great. You want a drink? No, I'm good. And I'm just like, laughing and joking and have a good time, but I'm still like,
How about when you go out somewhere and you see people like rushing to get into a certain area? Let's say it's an amusement park, or they open the doors to something, or a theater or whatever. And my first, like when I start seeing people go, I'm like, I put my hand in front of time. They're like, hold up, let them go.
Yeah.
Let them go.
Right. But see, I do that if I feel that certain people that are there are going to get out of hand. Other than that, I'm like, yo, let's go. You know, and it's like,
but I'm looking more for protecting it so you don't get hurt.
Yeah.
Because people are just not thinking now; they're just going because they're thinking about themselves, and it's like it's like, all right, just wait.
It's like Black Friday sales.
Yeah, it's still going to be there when we get in,
right? Yeah, no,
kind of thing.
I'm with you.
You know,
and it's wild. I think that for me, this episode, what I'm taking away is it does depend on where you are, and it does depend on the situation,
right? Of course,
you know.
Right.
And before, I'd always felt that it's just always is,
right.
that it's always on. You know, and that even though you're at what you think is your most relaxed, it's probably you know, feeling the force, you know, to know what's going on around you.
Right.
You know, like, you know, even when I hear cars or whatever outside, when I'm at work and I hear the machine, you know, you're in the store and, you know, you just hear a tone of a voice of, you know, who's ever speaking, and you just like kind of like you're looking to see what's going on.
Right.
Because, you know, you never know. You just never know. It could be anything, you know. Me being the comedian that I am, you know, it could be that one girlfriend that you said, you know, no, I don't want to be with you anymore. And she like, you hear her in the store one day, and she's like, Louis. You're like,
no, you see her, and then she doesn't see you.
Yeah, and
you duck, and you work the aisles, and you're like, there's 20,000 Rite Aids. Yeah. I'll go to another one.
You know, like, Jesus. Yeah. Honey, no, honey, I'll be outside. I'll wait for the car.
I forgot something.
Yeah. I'll be back in a little bit. I'll be outside.
Why are you hiding behind the Pampers? What's going on?
That's funny. That is hilarious, man.
Yeah.
That is hilarious. But yeah, I think that our upbringing all day does give us different instincts,
street smarts.
Yes, you know,
right.
But
I won't take away from
no
from
never.
other people where they come from. Like, so if you and I were to go somewhere,
we have no clue. We're like, oh, look at the pretty bird.
Yeah, they're like, oh no, don't.
Yeah,
Joe, man, don't go near that thing. Blah blah.
Exactly.
Like, oh shit,
yep.
Damn, I didn't know
leaves.
that. Right,
leaves up 3, leave them be.
Right, whatever it is.
Right.
So yeah, you have to rely on other people's stuff.
Yeah.
When you go there and be respectful.
Right.
You know, so you don't get hurt and. You know,
because their instincts, their teachings, their stuff, they know what all those things are. You know, it makes when you look at these people that go into the woods, they could find their way out of the woods. There's other people that walk in there and they never come out. Right. You know what I'm saying? And they were just walking in circles for the last 3 days and shit. You know, you get hurt. So we're pretty much the same. We get cut. And we're just like, put some crazy glue on it or put some duct tape and keep it moving.
Right, paper towel and painter's tape.
Just go and keep it moving, you know. Right. Meanwhile, but that's the instinct because we got to keep moving. We got to keep doing whatever we're doing. We don't have time to stop. That's an instinct that's something that we learned from back in the day. I've given myself stitches, bro.
Yeah, I don't think I've given myself stitches, but I definitely would, been able to repair whatever it is that I damaged.
Yeah.
You know, but.
Yeah. Because I was more afraid of my mom than.
Yeah, I don't think my
no,
I guess that's a weird thing too. Why are we always afraid? At least when we were growing up, when we were little, we were afraid that if you got hurt, your mother was going to get mad at you.
Because
at the beginning, she's not going to get mad at you. After you get better and you're done in the hospital and everything, then she's going to tell you you're punished because I told you not to do that. Yeah. And hopefully you learned your lesson. And if you say another word, we're going back to the hospital.
Yeah, because I gave you the
because now. And you'll be staying there for a couple of days.
Yeah. And if you don't get to come back home, remember I'll visit you.
Okay, don't worry, Dad will understand.
Yeah, that is the funniest shit.
Right? Yeah, honey.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we are who we are because of our instincts, because of our upbringing. Right. Because of the last episode TV shows that we watched, the friends we had, all that other good stuff, you know, and... parenting. Oh, dude, the parenting.
Your family.
Yeah.
But again, a lot of stuff I'm sure we did if we would really think about it.
I do
that we didn't get from them. We got it because it was just
Yeah.
our instincts.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Not what you necessarily learned from your parents, but
Right.
what you had to do on your own. So
Yeah, and I would do it all over again.
right.
Stay.
Yeah,
dude,
yeah,
I would
no.
do it,
I'm just saying, it's just certain things are learned, and hopefully you're smart enough to keep that, and you remember what your parents taught you, whatever, and you know how to get out of it. And sometimes it's just natural, pure instinct. You're just responding the way you were supposed to.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
So
we
with
are
that,
now at the end of
Yes.
another podcast.
fantabulous podcast.
Yes.
We're freaking amazing, bro.
Well, I don't know if we're amazing,
Well,
but
you gotta
I
stick
definitely
with
have
that.
fun enjoying doing
yeah.
it. So,
I set the bar here.
yeah. Well, you know.
Yeah, because I'm still looking for Jimmy Kimmel and
Well, bro,
Jimmy
I don't
Fallon.
know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm working on it. We're working on it.
Well, all that being said,
Yes, so thank you for joining us. Love, peace, and hair grease.
live long and prosper.
And
Go vegan.